Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the wonderful Spa-Francorchamps for the penultimate round of the Ferrari Challenge 2023 season. Trofeo Pirelli Race 1 is the first that is going to show on this wonderful stretch of tarmac which winds its way through the Ardennes region of Belgium. The mix of Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers on their way. This is what it looks like nearby. There was a nice thumbs up there from Elise O'Donoghue, and Elise O'Donoghue will be going from pole position. Here is our calendar for 2023 then, having been to Spain, Italy, Austria, France, Portugal. Here we are in Belgium, Spa-Francorchamps, with of course the Finale Mondiale to come the end of October in Mugello in Tuscany. Very much looking forward to that showdown to come. Talking of down, there you can see how just the elevation changes here at Spa-Francorchamps form part of this 7 kilometers. Please follow us on @Ferrari Races. We would love you to be part of the family, whatever is your social media preference. Be part of the family at Ferrari Races. So, we have some 21 drivers that will be out there in temperatures which have reached a really rather pleasant 24 degrees here. Track temperature is 33 degrees. It's very unseasonably nice here at Spa-Francorchamps, which, if you know anything about the history of this place, you will know that sunshine is not always a given when it comes to Spa-Francorchamps. What is always a given when it comes to the Ferrari challenges. Ludovica, who's down there in and on the grid. Good afternoon, Ludo.
Good afternoon, guys. It's time to dive ourselves in the Spa atmosphere. Behind me, there is one of the most iconic spots of this track. Is turn 1, the source. There, all the drivers must be pay attention because after a rolling start and cold brakes, can it be dangerous? So a larger trajectory is be recommended. But now we come back on the grid because today is a very decisive round for this season. From the pole position there is Eliseo Donno that he maybe redeemed himself from the latest round. From the second position, another young driver, Thomas Fleming, who was very competitive in this morning and in the free practice of yesterday in Friday. Hi Thomas, where are you? I want to ask you something about this track. Will be for you a very important round for the standing.
Yeah, it's going to be a very important round this weekend here in Spa. It's an amazing track, first of all. You know, coming here for the first time, it's really hard to believe I'd ever end up at like a track like this, and it's, you know, you guys watching at home, watching on the TV, like the elevation is 10 times crazy in real life. So yeah, it's a real treat that the Ferrari Challenge gets to come to such great tracks like this. But yeah, an important weekend. We're still trying to claw back some points to get more in the fight for the championship come to Mugello. We've had a decent qualifying session in P2. There's a couple of things we weren't happy with the setup of the car, so we've changed that, and we're looking forward to a good race.
Thank you, Thomas. Have a good race.
Thank you.
Continue our travel, our trip on the grid. From the third position start Adrian Sutil, an ex-Formula 1 driver, can maybe for his experience in the challenge and in the Formula 1, he maybe read in the best way this track. For the third position, I'm sorry, there is a lot of people today on the grid. From the third position, Franz Engstler. In this moment, he is leading the challenge, the standing of Pirelli Am. So even for him today will be very, very important. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much. Yes, to clarify, Franz Engstler is leading in Trofeo Pirelli Am and has put the car on pole position. And I have to say he was looked very, very comfortable with the Spa-Francorchamps circuit earlier on, and in so doing was able to put it P1 within class. So apparently we're not done with Ludo, who has Adrian Sutil.
Adrian, for your experience in Formula 1, you already drive on this circuit. What do you expect from today and from your opponents?
I like this track a lot, have good experience here, and it's always nice to come here. So I drive today and enjoy as much as I can, pedal a little bit, so yeah, let's see, very easy.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Always calm, cool and collected, Adrian Sutil, and of course he would be. He has bags of experience and looked very, very promising in qualifying earlier on. In fact, has put it P3, so in a very good position on the grid to really attack those two ahead of him, one of which is Thomas Fleming. You can see the back end of his car there, number 73, and of course to his outside, our pole sitter is Alessio Dono. So there is Tom Fleming standing by then, and going into La Source is going to be different for any of the Ferrari Challenge drivers that have been here before, and we have been here with the Ferrari Challenge on a number of occasions before, because all of a sudden now on the exit of turn number 1, where once there was acres of tarmac runoff area, now there's a very unforgiving gravel trap, and alongside me is Nico Spalek, and that gravel, if you find yourself in there, it's going to bite you on the bottom, and it will really compromise the opening to your race.
Yeah, definitely. And as you said, there was some runoff area, and especially on the first lap, that afforded you some opportunity to just run wide. Now that means the race could be over if you allow yourself to be pushed to the outside too much. So it's something the drivers have to be very careful of.
You're absolutely right. So, 30-minute sprint race to come from our Ferrari Challenge competitors. The Trofeo Pirelli drivers with the red strips across the top of the windscreen, and the AM drivers with the white strips across the top of the windscreen. So, Alessio Dono, pole position in Trofeo Pirelli for Trofeo Pirelli AM. Even though starting P4, it is Franz Engstler starting P1 within his category. Here is the track then. 7.004 kilometers. There are some 19 turns. 10 of them are left-handers, 9 of them are right-handers, and as you can see, the elevation changes, which Tom Fleming said on the grid, do not always translate into television quite how severe those elevation changes are around the 7 kilometers of this Spa-Francorchamps circuit.
Spa, I'm from Ferrari Berlin, and I show you Spa now. So we are on track in my 488 challenge. We are right now in the start, so we're going now to the source in the 3rd gear, and then it's push, push, push on the way to Eau Rouge. This is the most difficult thing, to be full throttle and don't panic on the track. Now, after the Eau Rouge, it goes on the Camel Straight. You have a very, very good speed. The Stablo is also very, very difficult because you're so fast, and you have one turn, no second turn, one turn through the whole corner. Then you go to the 6th gear. After the bridge, you go in the brakes, on the curb, and again, 4th gear, stay on the 4th gear, then on the left. The corner very good, to come good out to the Blanchiment, the famous Blanchiment. This was the last corner. We did it, we crossed the finish line, we are ready for the race. We're gonna have a very nice race. It was such a hot, good lap.
You can almost feel the enthusiasm when you've nailed every one of the 19 turns and you've put together a very, very competent lap, which was very pleasing to see and nice to ride on board with as well. So there the cars all lined up behind the Richard Mille safety car. Then we are 10 seconds away from the safety car leaving the grid. And absolutely pinpoint accurate in terms of timing. Here comes the grid in full. Alessio Dono goes from pole position for Radici Automobili. HRO and FF Corsa have P2 with Tom Fleming. Then it's Adrian Sutil, and then the best of the AM drivers, Franz Engstler. They go from P3 and P4. Simon Ladniak and Ben Valent go from the 3rd row of the grid. It's P5 and P6. Then it's Enzo Podaliccio, great qualifying for P7, and also for Hendrik Viol going from P8. Klaus Branson and James Owen go from P9 and P10 on our starting grid for race 1 here at Spa. Max Mugelli and Danilo Del Favero going from P11 and P12 respectively. Kim Eriksson, Leon Ringbig, they go P13 and P14. It's the 7th row. To the 8th we go with Martin Havas and Andreas Berg Sorensen. going from P15 and P16 to the 9th row, where we find Angelo Fantana and Otto Blank, and onto the 10th row, where we find Ruslan Sadriv and Armin Arifpour. They go from P19 and P20. And bringing up the rear of the pack, Nicolo Daniello goes from P21, making debut here in a Ferrari Challenge this weekend. So riding on board with the Richard Mille safety car, here come all the competitors then, and they will line up side by side in grid formation behind the safety car, which will peel off into the pit lane at the exit of the bus stop chicane. Then it will be the responsibility of Alessio Dono and Tom Fleming to control the pace of the rolling starts. We ride on board with Ben Sperlin. Nico, very tense time, and it's a very long lap for the drivers to be tense as they're assembling themselves for the start of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Row 1 is going to be always interesting, and Alessio O'Donnell, Tom Fleming, they have been battling back and forth all season long, and we look forward to that continuing. Franz Exter in row 2, the best of the Ams, with 2 Pirelli drivers behind him as a cushion towards the others, but it's a pinch point, that turn 1, and the gravel bed beckons on the outside.
You're right, it becomes more of a pinch point than ever it was, in my opinion. Then you carry so much speed down through that turn, heading towards Eau Rouge, and then Radion, and then it's Les Corms, Malmedy, and just the names of the corners of this iconic circuit are enough to put goosebumps on your arms. You can see James Owen weaving from side to side, trying to generate some temperature into the tyres ahead of the start of this race. It's all critical. And you'll see drivers, they'll be on the brakes and off the brakes and on the brakes and off the brakes. And the reason for that is, again, the temperature generation through the brakes, which dissipate through the rims and onto the Pirelli tyres, really help in terms of giving them some temperature when they go into turn number 1. Inevitably, whatever temperature they're able to put into those tyres ahead of the start of the race, the tyres will not be up to their optimum temperature. And therefore, Nico, you've got 21 cars screaming into turn number 1, which is as near as makes no difference a hairpin. You're running downhill, gravel trap to one side, Armco barriers to the other. It's a bit of a funnel, friend.
Absolutely, and then once you come to the bottom of that hill, there is the climb up to Eau Rouge, and you know, going through there side by side, I heard it's possible, but it takes some very big helping of courage, and it can go wrong very easily. So
it's not only the helping of courage that needs to be big, in my opinion. You're absolutely right, and you've got to be so brave, haven't you? And well, there we are. We will see who will do what and where and when over the course of this 30-minute race. The anxiety and the tension within the garages, you can almost feel it. I mean, our studio is located right at the top of those garages as well. Hashtag Ferrari Challenge. Stand by as the music plays out. We are 2 turns away from the start of this Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli Race 1 here at Spa-Francorchamps. On the lighting gantry, let's go racing. Tom Fleming very nearly getting to the inside of Alessio Dono, but not quite. Adrian Sutil trying to make moves, and so too James Owen. All the way around the outside comes Franz Exter. That's brave, with that gravel trap waiting for you, and thankfully I think he did avoid that, and it was Simon Ladniak rather than James Owen, of course, that was making the early moves, because Simon Ladniak in that all-yellow machine puts himself ahead of Franz Exter. That puts him P4 on the road as they climb up Eau Rouge and head towards Radion for the first time of asking. It is Dono from Fleming from Sutil. And there you can see everyone trying to make moves very early on in this race. What awaits them? It is going to be a chicane, of course, as you can see the front end of the car really compress as the suspension works well. And they dive into that chicane for the first time of asking. Good driving there from Enzo Podoliccio, the Ferrari of Central Florida driver, who's, of course, trying to chase down Franz Exter. And there is our race leader, Alessio Dono, as you roll downhill now and trying to get to the inside of that number 98 car of Klaus Sebranson. Max Mugelli's in the mix as well, so lots going on in the early stages of this, and Of course, with a 7-kilometre lap here, you can see the all-yellow car as Simon Ladniak sent a picture. He is running in P4. There's the best of the AM drivers, and that's Franz Engstler. And the battle for that first position, as you can see in the graphics on screen, is between Franz Engstler and Enzo Podoliccio, Nico.
Yeah, definitely. And Franz Engstler lost his cushion of 2 Pirelli drivers as Ladniak and Vallant had gone by him. So it's 3 AM drivers back to back to back. Big loser in that start was James Owen, who was the car which ran through the gravel trap, and we talked about it. He didn't get stuck, fortunately, but he lost quite a few positions.
And James has done such a really good job in qualifying as Adrian Sutil dips his rear wheels into the gravel, and it didn't really dampen his momentum, but it did kick up a little bit of a dust storm into the windscreen of Simon Ladniak, who was following very close behind. Ben's running in P5, of course, just behind Simon Ladniak there. So the order is Dono, Fleming, Sutil, top 3 for Trofeo Pirelli as they go through the bus stop for the first time of asking in the race proper. For the AM drivers, it is Engstler, Podoliccio and Klaus Sebranson, who is running P3. So here they come then, and breaking the timing beam to guarantee the first lap in the book then for Ferrari challengers. Enzo Podoliccio has got by Franz Engstler and now leads in Trofeo Pirelli AM. Not sure we saw that overtake. Hopefully we'll get a replay of that. Enzo Podoliccio now leading ahead of Franz Engstler and Klaus Sebranson. It's not very often that somebody gets by Franz Engstler, but get by they have. And here you can see Franz Engstler really fighting back now through Eau Rouge. The battle for P1 in Trofeo Pirelli AM between these 2 drivers, Enzo Podoliccio and Franz Engstler. Enzo hailing, of course, from the USA. Franz Engstler very much German. Here comes Benz Valent on Simon Ladniak, and he makes it stick. Great overtake from Benz Valent. He got the draft off the back of the Simon Ladniak car, heading into the first chicane Les Comps, and he made it work. So great driving there, and now Simon Ladniak is relegated to P5. For the moment, Enzo Podoliccio is still able to show a clean pair of heels to Franz Engstler. And there you can see where those 2 drivers have swapped positions, and now it is Benz Valent that's running P4. Simon Ladniak is running in P5. Podoliccio remains ahead of Franz Engstler, and then it is Klaus Sebranson doing the chasing from Hendrik Viol, the Scuderia Prague driver, who's done very, very well in the Ferrari Challenge. So going to be some great battles to watch over the remaining 26 minutes of this race, and for my money, Enzo is just breaking away a little bit from Franz Engstler. And also under a bit of a threat now is Klaus Sebranson from Hendrik Viol. So these 2 cars that are battling for P3 and P4 in Trofeo Pirelli AM getting very, very close. We had a very brief yellow flag at turn number 10, which means someone went awry there, but hopefully they've got it all gathered up once again. We had a little moment of watching Danilo Del Favero there, but there is Franz Engstler. Playing second fiddle at the moment to Enzo Podoliccio, which, of course, when it comes to the championship, is relatively, it kind of doesn't matter, Nico, because Franz has got such a cushion and he's in such a good place. And Enzo, first time into the Challenge Europe season this weekend, from a points haul, it kind of matters not.
Yeah, absolutely. Franz can breathe easy. Now we've got a safety car. Safety car, is, we had that yellow flag through turn 10, and that means everything will be neutralized. That lead that the top 2 drivers had built, and especially Eliseo Dono, will count for nothing except for the fact that he'll be still leading. With 25 minutes almost exactly, that gives us some time to take a deep breath and look back at what happened.
And this is what happened. So because initially we had the yellow flag, didn't we, which was very short, and it is for the Armin Arifpor car. And then the yellow flag became more constant, and now we have a safety car. So we're going to take a look at the start sequence and who did what and where, but we are behind the safety car at the moment. And as I say, Nico, I don't think we saw Enzo getting by Franz Engstler, but certainly didn't happen right at the start of the race, I don't think, did it? So there you can see Enzo Podoliccio and Franz Engstler. I mean, he was brave here, going all the way around the outside. Actually, he had to yield there a little bit, didn't he? Because he could see that actually the tarmac was going to run out.
Yeah, definitely. No.
And there's James Owen. Sorry to interrupt you, but you made that point that James Owen did run into the gravel. Sure enough, he did.
Yeah, absolutely. No, through the first part of the lap, Franz Engstler was running P1 in class, and He had Potolicio and Henrik Viol behind him, but as you said, Potolicio has gone past Engster, and maybe our guys in the OB van who are working very, very hard will find that scene. There is the team actually, and there are some of the spectators here around this Spa-Francorchamps circuit who are now being treated to the safety car, and hopefully we'll go back racing very soon.
You can see Luca Engstler is amongst the garage there. He is very much part of the team, of course. The Richard Mille safety car leading the cars around then. Of course, any safety car lap is a long lap here because of the 7 kilometres of tarmac. And well, it's not going to be a long safety car because there you can see the Armin Arifpour car is actually out of the gravel. So the Armin Arifpour is now distributing a bit of gravel around the track, which is less than helpful, but at least the Armin Arifpour car is out of the gravel now, the Riller and Schnapp driver, which should mean that we can go back to racing very, very soon, because to the best of my knowledge, that was the reason for the safety car. The beached Armin Arifpour car is now no longer beached, and therefore he does bring it into the pit lane. But that means that the time behind the Richard Mille safety car, hopefully, where is the safety car in terms of being on the... It's going to be at the end of this lap, surely the safety car can come in.
Yeah, they're still in the second sector, just barely, but that would mean that they've got just enough time to bring it in. But now they've completed the second sector and the lights are still on, which more often than not means that the safety car is going to do another lap, which would be very, very unfortunate. But, you know, sometimes timing doesn't work in your favor, and maybe they'll make a last moment ditch attempt to bring it in, but I don't think so. But
we will see. Ludovica's got Luca Engstler.
Thank you, guys. We are here on the pit with Fran's coach for discover more about his race and his confidence with this truck.
Yeah, normally felt quite confident here. We had a good first lap. We lost a bit in the second lap, so it's about to catch up. Now we have the safety car. It seems like we were a bit low with the pressures, but I think he'll bring them in the window, and then should be alright for the end of the stint.
And he is making fighting with his opponents, Potolicchio.
Yes, I mean, it will be a tough one. Obviously, we focus a lot on the title. For us, it's not a matter of winning the race; it's winning the title. And yeah, let's hope for a strong finish.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ciao.
Always good to hear from Luca Engstler himself, a very fine racer, of course. His father, Franz, equally so. And, well, Nico, our worst fears are realised in that we will get another entire 7 kilometres behind the safety car, which is it's just unfortunate timing, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. But as you can see, the safety car has already picked up some speed, and so that will allow the drivers to get the tires and everything ready for the restart, because even though they're doing their ultimate best to keep temperature in the Pirelli P0s, there is a drop-off. So that is one of the risks of announcing the return of the safety car to the pit lane too late in the lap. It will mean the drivers won't have the time to ready the car. So there is a safety aspect to that as well. Much that we'd like more racing and less safety car intervention. Safety, obviously, the ultimate priority here in racing and in the challenge for sure.
Of course. So you'll see the drivers vigorously weaving from side to side behind the Richard Mille safety car. And the reason for that, Simon Ladniak and Ben Svalint and Franz Engstler perhaps being the biggest weavers, and that is to try and generate that temperature so that when we go back to racing, which is going to be at the conclusion of this lap, they are going to be ready to go with tyres as near as, damn it, up to temperature as they can be. They still won't be up to proper operating temperature, but they'll be as good as they can get. So there is Thomas Fleming then, who's running in P2 at the moment, with this man, Alessio O'Donoghue, leading, and has done from the very start of the race. Of course, he put the car on pole position, and therefore this perhaps proposes another opportunity for Tom Fleming to try and wrestle that P1 position away from Alessio O'Donoghue. We will see. Enzo Potolicchio, good job done on Franz Engstler in terms of the Trofeo Pirelli AMS, but as Luca Engstler has said, from France's point of view, all eyes are on the title prize as opposed to the race prize, and that's wise. You can see there's some absorbent fluid, some absorbent material has gone down to soak up any fluid that may have been lost, and the safety car slows up as they run through that. You can see the tyre the tyre markings as car has spun around and headed towards those barriers. So, right, we are standing by with 18 and a half minutes of the race to come. We're hopefully going to reach the conclusion of this safety car period very, very soon, and we will go back to racing. Now, I regret to say, more often than not, when you have a safety car intervention, sometimes with the cars all bunched up once again, it can mean that we go back to a situation where a safety car might be called for all over again. So, safety car coming in this lap. We need to get ready to go racing. There is a slippery surface being warned in turn 12. So, standing by. And there you can see Alessio O'Donoghue and Tom Fleming and Adrian Sutil then all getting ready for this restart. Of course, it will be Alessio O'Donoghue that will control the pace of the restart. As we understand the rules, he can choose when he gives it 100%, Nico, on the loud pedal. Once he's accelerated, he has to stay accelerated.
Yeah, definitely. No slowing down, and I think he has already done that. And that gives him a good cushion going into the bus stop. Tom Fleming a little bit under pressure from Adrian Sutil, but no problem for either of them to hold on for their positions for the moment. And then there is a big gap.
There is. The top 5 have really broken away. Look at Betz Valent looking very lively on the back of the Adrian Sutil car. Here comes Enzo Podoliccio then leading in Trofeo Pirelli Am. And Franz Engstler trying to get on terms with the number 22 car at the moment. And we will see. Oh, 1 or 2 cars getting very sideways, Nico, on the exit of La Source as we go down to Eau Rouge and then Radigau. And my goodness me, the top 4-5 cars have really broken away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, Enzo Podoliccio, I think, was primarily watching Franz Engstler, and therefore, and obviously they're in a different class, so Podoliccio isn't really concerned with getting a jump on Simon Ledniak, even if that would give him a cushion towards Franz Engstler, but his priority was keeping Franz Engstler behind him, and he's done a good job of that, so he has to do that for only 18 minutes or so, easy job.
Yeah, of course. Easy for us to talk about it, isn't it? Bearing in mind, the drivers being warned about that slippery surface in turn number 12 as they desperately trying to get the tyres back up to temperature. You can see the car sliding about a little bit more, and basically that's because they've been through a heat cycle, cooled down again, and now you've got to bring the tyres back up to temperature. So that's what all the drivers are doing, and they're on a bit of a knife edge, Nico, because of course they want to go as fast as they can, but what they don't want to do is find themselves in strife with regards to grip not being afforded to them that they think is potentially going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're in the sandwich and hunting and being hunted, you don't want to be over-aggressive and leave yourself vulnerable to the drivers behind you. And also, one thing that we've already seen on timing screen is warnings for track limits. And this is something that might play a role towards the end of the race, because too many track limit infractions and too many, generally meaning 4, will earn you a penalty, and those penalties will escalate with each additional infraction. So you have to be aggressive, but you also have to make sure that you stay, for the most part, within the wide lines with at least 2 wheels, otherwise it can bite you.
So the top 3 then are really setting an extraordinary pace now that the tyres are up to temperature. You can see Tom Fleming there, he's flashing his lights, trying just to get Alessio O'Donoghue to lose concentration just for a second. Into the bus stop they come. Almost a little bit of contact from Tom Fleming on the back end of Alessio O'Donoghue. It's because they were running so close together. And I don't think there was any contact, but it looked like it could have been. So as they head towards turn number 1 then, this hairpin, Tom Fleming taking a different line here as Adrian Sutil tries to come around the outside. And Nico, this is the very thing that you were talking about just a moment ago, when you're hunting and being hunted at the same time. Defend your P2 position and try and attack for P1 as well. That's really difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And now obviously coming up through Eau Rouge, and onto the long straight, that means you want to be in the slipstream and you don't want to give slipstream to the cars behind you. So Tom Fleming in a very perilous position with his P2, certainly not in a position to really hunt Alessio O'Donoghue, but really having to check his rear view mirrors. But he just got enough of a cushion to be safe on this occasion.
Yes, you're absolutely right. As they go through that chicane then, Alessio O'Donoghue from Tom Fleming, from Adrian Sutil. Now, Franz Engstler has got ahead of Enzo Podoliccio. And there you can see it. Franz Engstler is indeed ahead of Enzo Podoliccio. So forgive me, Frank, that's 2 overtakes we've seen from you this afternoon. Well done. So he is back leading in terms of Trofeo Pirelli AM, which kind of knocks into a cocked hat everything that his son Luca was saying about we're not going to focus on the race, we're just going to focus on the big prize. To heck with it. France is a racer of many, many years, of many successes, and show him a car in front, it is nothing other than a target, Nico.
Very well put, yeah. I mean, when the opportunity presents itself, and it certainly did, we believe, he certainly made the most of it, and that means he's leading. And that is the quickest way to the championship, actually, and we do expect him to take that championship just by virtue of how many points he had in advantage coming into this race in this weekend. And and there is a replay, and that's how it happened.
Oh, that was bold. That was bold going into turn number 1. He properly sent it there, Nico.
Yeah, definitely. Even going a little bit sideways, but it was just enough, had enough traction to take the lead, and that means he is leading Enzo Poglicio into the final 12 minutes of this race as Tom Fleming is trying to get on terms with Eliseo Dono.
He's getting close.
Yeah, but he needs to make that overtake if he really wants to reel in Eliseo Dono for the championship.
You're absolutely right. I mean, he can afford to leave no points on the table. He's got to bank as many points as he can. I want to say well done to the guys in the truck there for giving us that replay of Franz Engstler's overtake, because that was awesome. I mean, Enzo had no idea, I'm sure, that Franz Engstler was going to come from where he did, but he did, and he made it stick and made it work. And Eliseo Dono is doing everything that Tom Fleming wants him not to do, and that's increasing his margin. And see here, the benefit that Eliseo has is that Tom Fleming is not going to get a draft, although Tom has just set the fastest lap. But Eliseo is far enough ahead of Tom Fleming where he's not going to give any benefit, I don't think, to the driver of the number 73 car. So we've got 11 and a half minutes, as near as makes no difference, left in this race. There is Franz Engstler, who now he's been released from Enzo Poglicio, seems to be getting away. What a fight going on between Hendrik Viol and Klaus Sebranson here. Now this is for the final podium place in Trofeo Pirelli AM, and you can see how the Klaus Sebranson car was sideways there, Nico. Really pushing these 488 Challenge Evos for everything that they possibly can. Hendrik Viol and Klaus Sebranson then running P3 and P4 in the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli AM. Great fight going on between those two drivers. And let's take a look at it from being on board here, rearward looking from the Hendrik Viol car to the Klaus Sebranson car ahead, or behind, I should say. And, well, that's just how close they are. It's one of the closer battles, in fairness. Danilo Del Fabro is P5, James Owen P6. And as Nico pointed out at the original start of the race, James Owen losing out by having run through the gravel, which cost him some very, very important momentum.
Indeed, but he has made up a few positions coming back into P6 in class, but you can see what a gap those two have over Del Fabro and Owen, so they can really focus on their battle because there is nobody chasing them right behind. So that means Sebranson can really look forward, doesn't have to check his rear view mirrors for anything coming from behind. 10 minutes remaining. The gap between Dono and Fleming is 1.2 seconds. The gap between Engstler and Poglicio is 2.1 seconds. So not imminent battles for the race lead in either class, but still got lots of going on.
Indeed, and big up to Andreas Berg Sorensen, who's moved up 3 places to run P7 in this class, Trofeo Pirelli AM. Andreas Berg Sorensen, who you and I first met when he contested the Ferrari Challenge Winter Series in the Middle East, in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, driving for Formula Racing. It was really, really nice to meet him, and we knew then that there's a bit of talent in there. There's no question about it. So Hendrik Viol and Klaus Sebranson then continuing this little ding-dong that's going on for the final podium place in Trofeo Pirelli AM, which for the moment is with Hendrik Viol, ahead of Klaus Sebranson. Franz Engstler has opened up something of a 3-second margin, I think, over Enzo Poglicio, Nico.
Yeah, definitely. And also the gaps, other than this battle that we're watching, have extended just a little bit, so no imminent battles. Now we got a time penalty announced on our timing screen, and that goes the way of Enzo Poglicio. 5 seconds. That puts these two into the battle for P2 rather than P3.
Yes.
Because they are running 2.6 seconds behind Enzo, so that means virtually 2.4 seconds. So with 8 minutes and 40 seconds, that can still change. And there is the driver who has been awarded, for lack of a better word, that time penalty.
Yes. Not so much an award in the positive sense that often people think about, but yes, he has been given that time penalty. And as Nico makes the point, all of a sudden that battle that we're watching between Hendrik Viol and Klaus Branson, which is for P3, all of a sudden becomes for P2 and P3 when you take into account the fact that there is that 5-second time penalty that is going to be given to Enzo Podolicio, who is currently running in P2. So these two guys, all of a sudden, there are bigger prizes up for grabs, potentially. You can see there's an awful lot of dust being kicked up, Nico, and I think that's as a result of just some of the cars running onto the gravel a little bit. Not very much, but enough to almost provide a smokescreen to the car that's following, like some super spy-esque magic trick from the back of the car.
His Majesty's service, if you will. No, absolutely. And the Podolicio penalty may also be a warning for all the other drivers who have been warned, about track limits, because it is exactly what might happen to one or two other drivers if they run afoul of the track limits. Well, this battle still keeps us riveted. Viol, Sir Branson for P2 in the AMS. And there's very different lines to be taken through many of the turns. And Sir Branson really is trying everything. He has to be careful not to run in the dirty too much. He has to make a move at some point or let off potentially. They run through Eau Rouge and up to Raidillon, and this is obviously where, if you're the car behind, the slipstream will work in your favor, but you have to make it work. You have to maximize it all the way up into the chicane, because after that overtaking becomes oh so much more difficult.
Stand by. Whoa! You can see there that, well, Hendrik Viol, as is his right, because he's protecting his track position, Nico, was defending that line going in there, wasn't he? And Klaus Branson having to fight really, really hard to try and find a way by. Now, regrettably, we've seen the loss of Armin Arifpour during the course of that race, and I think Armin Arifpour is standing by to explain the reasons why Armin Arifpour has unfortunately had to take an early bath from race number 1. He's with Ludovica.
I mean, unfortunately, Spa today, what happened in the track?
The start was not good for me, but the main problem was that there was oil on the track, so I don't see it. And then when I was overtaking the right one, I got slipped and a car goes away, and it was impossible to catch it. So, but all good, I'm healthy, all good, so it happens.
Eyes on for tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow is the new attack, and hopefully tomorrow is going to be better. Yeah.
Thank you for your time, I mean.
Sure. Have a good day.
Well, thank you so much, Armin, for talking to us. Well, do you know what? And that answers a question, and a critical question, because I was concerned why there was fluid retention material having been put down there, and I actually wondered whether Armin had slipped on some fluid from his own car, but that would appear from what he said not the case. It was from another car.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly looked like it, and we get another penalty. Leon Greenberg gets a 5-second penalty. He is currently running in P9 in the AM, so not figuring in the podium positions, figuring very much in the podium positions going back to this battle.
Yes, which is for Klaus Branson and Hendrik Viol, which is, Nico used the adjective riveting, and absolutely right, because lap after lap after lap, they've been able to run together like that, which is remarkable, really. Doing a very, very good job. Here comes James Owen then ahead of Andreas Berg Sorensen. James Owen running at the moment in class, as we can see in replay here. That's the reason we were looking at James Owen, because coming out of the bus stop, he had one of those scary moments, Nico, where the back end of the car was actually requesting his question for more grip, and it wasn't there, and the back end went around.
Yeah, Owen didn't lose any positions as a result of that. He had just enough of a cushion, but now he is running 6 seconds behind Danilo Del Favero, who he was trying to challenge. Certainly that challenge has gone away, and it's more about Andreas Berg Sorensen closing in on him, so
Yes.
he has to defend his P6 in the race from here on out, because certainly I don't think that he has any weight for an improvement in terms of position unless someone in front of him falls over. That battle also has subsided a little bit, so Brandt's not quite behind Viol anymore.
I'm not surprised, because with all due respect to Klaus Branson, who's been running in the dirty-ish air behind Hendrik Viol for lap after lap after lap, his Pirelli tyres, he's asked an awful lot of them, hasn't he? And even though there's a decreasing fuel load, I should think, with all due respect, you know, having run as close as he has, and they have been two cars almost moulded together, I suspect that's probably not happening with quite the precision that it did at the start of the race, if I may be so bold.
I think that was very, very carefully worded and equally accurate. 2 minutes 45 seconds remaining. We still get more warnings for track limits, no more penalties, but it does affect the likes of Tom Fleming, Adrian Sutil, Franz Engster as well, Simon Ladniak. So, you know, it's only 2 minutes 40 seconds, but we have had penalties being awarded even after the checkered flag.
Absolutely.
So it is still very much possible that we will say, or we will see a change, a dramatic one coming out of left field. So it is always a possibility, and Eliseo really ran wide.
I think he did. I think he did. Here comes Tom Fleming. I mean, in the remainder of the 2 minutes, which, by my reckoning, Nico, the remainder of this lap plus one more?
Yeah, we would think so. With 2 minutes 25 seconds per lap currently, they certainly crossed the timing line probably before that. So after this one, maybe two more, we will see. It could come down to a few seconds, and we will be watching the timing, of course. I think from Eliseo O'Donnell, any lap less would be better.
I think you're right. I think he's. Oh, you can see the Franz Engster car sliding as well, and I think that's just an example of, you know, when you punish the car for 30 minutes around a really, really hard circuit like Spa-Francorchamps. It really takes it out. I mean, it takes it out of you physically as a driver. I don't doubt that for one moment, but it also, I think, takes it out of the car and the tyres and the suspension and the brakes and all the componentry as well. Absolutely brilliant cars, these 488 Challenge Evos that have served the Ferrari Challenge so very well. It's such a successful racing car. Eliseo O'Donnell leading from Tom Fleming, from Adrian Sutil. Those are the top three in Trofeo Pirelli. For Trofeo Pirelli AM, it is Franz Engster ahead of Enzo Podoliccio and Hendrik Viol. But do bear in mind that Enzo Podoliccio has got a 5-second time penalty to be awarded, and Leon Ranbeck has now been given a 25-second penalty. Now, car number 71 receives a 5-second penalty. That's Otto Blank. So even in the closing stages of this race, and there are still warnings and penalties being awarded. So the cars cross the timing line with some 15 seconds remaining. So crossing the timing line, we start the final lap. So Eliseo O'Donnell has got one more lap to hold off Tom Fleming, but really reinforcing what you were saying, Nico, in that time penalties coming right at the end of the race as well. And you know, if there is an excursion over the track limits, as we've just seen again, you know, you might still be warned, even though it's the closing stages of the race, and that could affect the post-race. Absolute official confirmation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Eliseo O'Donnell 1.4 seconds. Then there is an 8-second gap and almost 9 seconds between Fleming and Sutil. So
yeah,
the top two shouldn't be.
They'd have to have huge penalties, wouldn't they?
Exactly. So I don't think there is a big chance for anything happening. But Sutil Valent is 3.7 seconds. Valent Ladniak is 2.5 seconds. Hard to be made up on the track, but as we said, penalties come in 5-second increments. So we don't know. Obviously, we want the race. Oh, and look at that. Oh, sorry, that was a back marker. Sorry for raising the voice. That was uncalled for. But looked for a moment like there had been some movement in the front.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It did look like there'd been some movement on the right up front. So we will see. Now, according to my reckoning and the advice that I'm given from very senior people, it's going to take not only the race win from Franz Hengstler, he's got to have the fastest lap as well for him to be able to seal the Trofeo Pirelli Am Championship today, as we're on the final lap. And there is Tom Fleming then. P2, P1 Eliseo Dono. And for Trofeo Pirelli Am, it is Franz Hengstler and Enzo Podaliccio. So you're in sight of the timing screen. How's it looking in terms of fast laps, Nico?
Well, as you can see on the timing screen, all of you, you can see that purple stopwatch indicating who has done the fastest lap in terms of class, and that looks like Franz Hengstler does have it, and that would be an indication of a championship being awarded. But for the moment, Eliseo Dono heading for the timing line.
He scores yet another win in what has been a stellar season in Ferrari Challenge. Eliseo Dono P1. Radici Automobili will be very, very happy with that. Here comes Franz Hengstler then. Trofeo Pirelli Am driver. As he rounds the bus stop turn, he will head towards the checkered flag. And Franz Hengstler will have done enough with the fastest lap and the race win to become the 2023 Trofeo Pirelli Am champion. 2 championships in a row for Franz Hengstler in 2022 and 2023. The old boy has lost none of his talent.
Yeah, and it was Coppa Shell last year, and it is Trofeo Pirelli Am this year, and Trofeo Pirelli champion next year? Maybe. We will see what happens next year, but he certainly lost nothing in terms of his competitiveness and lost nothing in terms of his streak of success, as we see the cars who don't make a full slow down lap here, but they shoot right back into the paddock, which is good, because otherwise the podium would probably take half an hour to get there.
Still be here when we're having our cocoa. You're absolutely right. So Eliseo Dono, Tom Fleming, Adrian Sutil, the top 3 in Trofeo Pirelli. For Trofeo Pirelli Am, Franz Hengstler, and becomes the champion. It is Hendrik Viol and Klaus Sebranson who both move ahead of Enzo Podaliccio, which means they will be on the podium. Eliseo Dono, though, is on his way to yet another win and another top step of the podium for the Radici Automobili driver. Great job done by Eliseo, Nico.
Yeah, no question about it. He is really back into his winning ways, and he was 24 points up before that session. He gains a few more points, not enough to take the championship, but puts him into a very comfortable position, and it might set up an opportunity. Well, it does set up an opportunity to clinch the championship tomorrow.
Yes.
Tom Fleming will do everything to prevent that from happening.
Of course.
But for today, he has driven a very good race. He wasn't able to stay on terms with Eliseo Dono, who's really, really enjoying his day and his success here.
So well done to Eliseo Dono and well done to Franz Hengstler. Here he is, look. Now he drives with the number 1 by dint of the fact he was Cup Shell champion last year, and Franz is always the same, Nico. He is always smiling. And now he is the 2023 champion. Where's Luca to come and congratulate him? His son, who of course is also successful in motor racing. Is he as successful as... well, if he could emulate the career wins that Franz Hengstler has had through his career, he'd be very happy with that, because Dad has done a pretty good job. It's been an awesome, awesome 2023 for Franz Hengstler. Have to be honest, Nico, when he moved into Trofeo Pirelli Am, I wasn't sure he was going to have it all his own way, but he certainly proved how good he is. Here comes our pit show.
ci ritroviamo sotto al podio a festeggiare un'ennesima vittoria. Sei tornato a vincere a Spa dopo qualche gara, poi un po' in difficoltà, però insomma oggi si deve festeggiare un ottimo lavoro da parte tua e di tutto il team.
Sì, infatti come hai detto te, dopo l'ultima gara a Estoril un po' in fatica per il caldo siamo arrivati qui a vincere di nuovo. La mia prima volta qui, la pista è bellissima, la più bella che ho provato fino ad ora. Per questo devo un grazie infinito a tutto il team, perché il lavoro che ha fatto nelle prove libere non è da tutti. Tutte le persone che stanno a casa, la mia famiglia che mi supporta sempre ogni gara, cerchiamo di ripetere questo pure domani.
Grazie Eliseo. Now in English, Eliseo is very happy for this result. All the teams and the people in the team work a lot in Friday during the free practice, and in this morning Eliseo made a good qualification. He returns to win in an iconic circuit, so this is very important for him and for the team for the standings.
There you can see Alicia Dono walking away. And here then is Franz Engstler, Charles Pozzi GT Racing. And he is the 2023 Trofeo Pirelli Am champion.
Friends, I'm in front of a double champion 2022-2023. Unbelievable, congratulations. Was a very good track for you. In this morning I speak with your coach that he said that you was very confident on Spa. So can you tell us more about it today?
Absolutely. Spa for me is really a difficult racetrack, but I like it really much. I did it, I think my first race I did in '88 with Formula 3, so this I like really much, and I have to say compliment to my team. He gave me, as always, a really great car. We can close the championship and win again, so this is unbelievable, amazing.
Now it's time to celebrate.
Absolutely, believe me, absolutely. We also can make a party, believe me.
Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you.
We are awaiting our invitations, Mr. Engstler. Big hint there, Luca, sort it out. Here come the highlights. So there are the highlights. Here are the race statistics for you to enjoy. Top speeds across Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am. Well, Ben Spalink hit the speed trap at 274.1 kilometers per hour. Fastest laps, we already know that because by dint of taking the fastest lap in Trofeo Pirelli Am, it was the point that was needed to secure the championship, along with the P1 position, of course, from Franz Engstler. We are going to be going up to the podium very shortly, where we will see Alicia Dono, Tom Fleming and Adrian Sutil. We'll also see Franz Engstler, Hendrik Viol and Klaus Sibranson. So the car cars are assembled down there. As you can see, the drivers are assembling up on the podium, which is literally no more than a couple of steps from where our studio is located here at Spa-Francorchamps. So very much looking forward to seeing the celebrations on the podium, being hosted by Michele Mambelli right now. Here comes Adrian Sutil then to take P3 in Trofeo Pirelli. It's Trofeo Pirelli podium first of all. And taking P2. Heading towards the step number 2 will be Tom Fleming. Young Thomas then. And then on the top step of the podium, having taken the win, here comes Alessio Dono for Radici Automobili. And of course the team invited to the podium as well. National Anthem time. So it was the extended-ish version of the national anthem to play out then. And here come the trophy presentations. Lulu Vadu here then to make the trophy presentation. Official Ferrari GT driver, of course. Fine driver as well, making the trophy presentation to Adrian Sutil. And here comes the trophy presentation to Tom Fleming. And then to add to the collection of awards that Alessio Dono has, it's P1. And of course the Copa Team Award will also be awarded to Alessio Dono's team, which is Radici Automobili.
And now guys, please, all drivers and Carlo on the first step.
Come on, Carlo. You're always tardy.
And rise your trophy.
No, lift your trophy, Michele. They all lift their trophies. And here are the top 3 cars then. Adrian Sutil for Gome and Baron Motorsport. He takes P3. Taking P2 for HR Owen and FF Corsa. It's Tom Fleming. And here comes his number 73 car. In a moment. That, of course, is the Alessio Dono car. Forgive us, it should have been the Tom Fleming car that we saw, which, of course, is car number 73. And car number 1, of course, Alessio Dono, car number 19, taking position number 1. Amazing how your stroke can be off-put. Alessio Dono with Drivers' Championship points of 141. Tom Fleming on 113. So the gap between P1 and P2 in the Drivers' Championship is 28 points. Max Mugelli, who finished P5 in the race, is P3 in the Drivers' Championship points. Now, for Trofeo Pirelli Am Championship, of course, we will get the points. But first, let's have their podium. And taking P3, it's Klaus Zibranson. For Formula Racing. For Scuderia Prague, here comes Hendrik Viol. Well done, Hendrik. And on the top step of the podium, and in so doing, becoming the champion for 2023, Franz Engstler.
And now we are ready for national anthem. And now, guys, we are ready for the trophy.
Slightly shorter version of the German anthem, that's for sure.
Take the trophy for the third
Here comes Lilo once again to make the trophy presentations too. Klaus Brandsen receives P3. Well done, Klaus. Hendrik, well done. P2 for Hendrik and Scuderia Prague. He'll be thrilled with that. And taking the win, and in so doing, becoming the new Trofeo Pirelli Am champion, Franz Engstler.
Well done, Franz Engstler. Well done,
Lucio Pagani from Pirelli. Of course, it's double bubble for Franz Engstler, who gets 2 trophies. Well done, Lucio. And well done to the Charles Posse GT team as well. Here come the photographs then, as the focus of everyone is on our top 3 in Trofeo Pirelli. Move up, chap, come on. That's it. Trophies up. Here come the cars in goodness only knows what order, but it should be car number 98 for P3, and it is Klaus Brandsen for Formula Racing. He takes P3. Taking P2, he says with a spirit of foreboding, is the Scuderia Prague car of Hendrik Viol. Well done, Hendrik. And then, of course, taking the win this afternoon and the fastest lap this afternoon is sufficient for this car and its driver, Franz Engstler, to become the 2023 Trofeo Pirelli Am champion and also winning race 1 here at Spa-Francorchamps. Franz Engstler, well done. There we have it then, the Drivers' Championship points with a 53-point margin over Hanno Laskowski, who actually is not here this weekend. It was sufficient for Franz Engstler to be able to seal the deal. Nicola Rossi also missing this weekend, P3. James Owen, P4 in the Drivers' Championship points. But 149 points for Franz Engstler is a tally which is enough for him to be the Trofeo Pirelli Am Drivers' Champion with 1 race here, and of course still Finale Mondiale to be done as well in Mugello, so he's closed the account well in credit as Franz Engstler. Well done, sir.
Yeah, definitely. 37 points, 38 points remaining after today, so that is insurmountable.
Indeed, and we're standing by for the invitation to come to whatever part of Germany the Engstlers reside in. I do know, and I can't for the life of me remember in terms, but that's where the invitation to quite a party will be, I feel sure. Thank you so much for watching the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli race 1 or 2 this weekend. Of course, we have Cope race to come as well this afternoon. Please join us for that if you can. But from Nico and from myself, for now, thank you so much. Goodbye.